Good afternoon, everybody. And I had to remember to say good afternoon because oftentimes Digital Media Sync is on Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., but we switched it around because this is a really special episode. I'm very excited. I'm excited for two reasons. One is I'm going to tell you about right now is that Known Co-working at 139 Orange Street is open. We are open. Flex desks are open, dedicated desks are open, offices. We just did some renovations that are just really beautiful. So stop by. We had a meeting earlier this morning to talk about some events that we want to do in person. So we have networking and wind down events and that sort of thing. So if you go to www.nhvknown.com, you'll be able to see what's going on from that perspective. And if you go to our Facebook page, we're going to set those particular networking and, kind of more casual events and seminars, that sort of thing, up on the event section of the page. So there's going to be that. We are still doing live streaming. I am still live streaming Digital Media Sync. I took a couple of weeks off in May to do a little bit more planning for Digital Media Sync. So now one of the other things that I'm really excited about, that we now have a partnership with New Haven Free Public Library, the Ives Square business nonprofit area. They have something called the Digital Toolbox. It is digital tools, applications that are available for free from the library. There's business tools and there's nonprofit tools. So everything from SEMrush to tools that help with business research, grant writing research, and that sort of thing. So we're going to have that coming up as well. Next week, I also have Zeph Zan coming up, and she's going to be talking about live events as well. So more from the live networking perspective, virtual networking, and then Chris Tonsky is going to come back and talk about websites. So we have a lot of things lined up and a lot of very exciting things. Okay, so I want to get right to it because I'm super excited. I have brought back a very good friend of mine, and you've seen him a few times now, Raheem Nelson. He is here. We had talked about doing kind of like New Haven's fashion icons in the digital world post-COVID. So I'm really excited about that. And then another good friend of mine, Frank Mr. Wonderful Brady, is here as well. So we're going to have a panel with Ra and Frank, and then T. Montgomery. And I don't know, I'm hoping you remember T. Montgomery, Threads by T. He's definitely making a name for himself and connected to Known as well as part of the first cohort of the Knownnpreneur. So I'm going to bring everybody up, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves, starting with Raheem. So I'm just going to there we go. So hello. So I'm going to switch you up. I'm going to let you start.
Okay, sure. So first and foremost, thank you, Julia, for helping me put this together and just being so open to my ideas and my feedback, and giving me a platform to not only talk about my art, but to talk about, the fashion that I like to put together and everything. So introducing myself, my name is Raheem Nelson. I'm a local New Haven based artist. I love to travel. I love illustration. I create my illustrations on an Apple iPad, but I'm classically trained as a cartoonist and illustrator. I'm also into photography, into graphic design, music, fashion, of course, and then just traveling.
All right, and T, you're showing up next for me, so I'm going to have you introduce yourself as well, more formally.
All right. Hello, everyone. T. Montgomery. I'm also from New Haven. I design and make wearable art with my company, Threads by T. and design and make it with the intention to inspire and empower. Overall, that's my mission with everything I do: to save souls, to inspire, to empower, to help bring up the next generations, and to help everyone really believe and understand that you can do whatever you want to do with your life and with your goals and with your mission. I love to eat. I love to travel. Believe it or not, I wouldn't necessarily call myself a fashion person. I'm more into style, personal style. Uh, yeah, I think I'll leave it there for now.
Great. And Frank?
All right, Tess and Julie, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, yes.
Yeah, all right. So this is Frankie Brady. I am a educator, a speaker, motivational speaker, as well as a consultant. My area expertise is emotional intelligence. I help companies and leaders be able to manage the emotional stability of their clients as well as their workforce, and able to enable leaders to make better sound decisions that increase productivity and just bring out the best in the individuals working for the companies and corporations. And EQ is like my love language. I'm really big on self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and those are the keys to success in like a thriving economy, especially coming out of the pandemic that we're coming in, and everything like that. So I would also, it's so funny. Like my brother Tyrone said, I'm not necessarily a fashion person, but people often compliment me for my style. And I believe that style is an expression of who you are, your most authentic self, and how you show up in spaces. And I just try and do that, as often as possible.
That's great. I think can we talk about that just a tiny bit, kind of like the fashion versus style kind of conversation that's come up. What does that look like? Men's fashion, men's style, men's yeah.
Well, I can start with this.
I'll start with that one. So I think it's like a balance. I think like if you're like too heavy on the fashion side, like I see that as like you're chasing trends and you're not necessarily expressing yourself. You're expressing like what somebody else is feeding to you. And like it's cool to like say like, oh, I want to try this out. Like this is the latest fashion. Let me try this out and see if I like it. But like if you're just gonna like be a slave to trends, I don't really see that being like something that has workability for an individual. So like for speaking for myself, I enjoy fashion. I enjoy checking out some trends. Not everything's gonna be for me, and I realize that comes down to personal style, personal choice. I've been dressing in suits, streetwear for a while now. And it just boils down to like, all right, I like this kind of fashion, but I have enough personal style to know, okay, this works for me. I'm going to rock with it versus I'm not going to rock with this. I'm not really into this trend. I'm going to sit this season out or something like that.
Got it.
So for me, I dress the way that I dress according to how I feel and how I want to feel. I don't dress for anyone to see. I don't dress for the compliments. I don't dress according to the trends. It's strictly about me. It's a very personal thing.
Yeah.
And ever since I started making clothes, since I started making my own clothes, I don't even feel the same wearing, other people's clothes. Like this suit I have on, for example, I'm wearing this for work. And I don't necessarily feel like myself anymore because I didn't make it. So when it comes to personal style, it is absolutely a personal thing, and I think that people need to embrace that more by challenging themselves to try new things, by breaking away from the trends and what they're told, even by breaking away from certain rules. Style is a complete expression of yourself, and it influences how you feel about yourself completely and absolutely. Yeah, that's what I have on that. Yeah, I'm mute, Frank.
Yeah, you're on mute, Frank.
Here we go.
Okay.
See, I'll be hard pressed to add anything to what my brothers just said. I mean, I think they both summed it up. You know, I think really just for me, again, style is about how do I show up in my most authentic self. You know, it's really big on authenticity. So that might look like a suit, that might look like shorts, t-shirt. You know, it goes on how I feel authentically, like, you know, and what I want to express. Like, I think for me, style is a truth expression of myself, and however that comes out, you know. Fashion wise, I also don't really, you know, go with trends whatsoever. I feel like trends are boxes, and we might be buried in boxes, but we're never meant to live in boxes.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
With trends don't work for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then trends are driven by hype. So, you know, some people who dress or who are into fashion based on trends, they're considered hype beasts. So trends can be driven by hype. They can be driven by necessity. Like, for example, last year we all needed masks. So masks were trending, but it was also practical because it was necessary at the time. So there are trends to go with, like masks, or like practical trends, things that work for you. Certain industries with dress shirts, for example, they wear button downs where they have buttons on the collar because it's like a standard for a certain industry, like construction, office work, for example. So, you know, some things make sense when it comes to trends, and then others, people should be more free and more open to include themselves, their actual selves, into what they wear and how they present themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So I guess a question now would be, is that how have things changed? How have we looked at how we show up, or how you show up over the past year? And then, you know, now moving forward, like what are some things that you've kind of been introspective about or thought about from that perspective? You know, because a lot of what we were doing, and the kind of like joke has been, oh, you know, like dress up top and then wear like sweats or pajamas on the bottom or something like that. You know, and you know, I want this obviously to be all about you guys, but I know personally for me, one of the big things was that my personal style was I was going to stick with, you know, always kind of dress, you know, having that little bit of casual, but never like, I felt like it was a slide for me if I'm going to be putting like leggings on or sweatpants on or something like that I wouldn't feel good about myself. Like I feel good about myself when I kind of like, I dress up a little bit and I wear, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, this makes me feel like I want to go to work. I want to present myself in such a way that I feel like I'm going to get things done. Like that's what, you know, I'm trying to push myself. So what does that look like?
Okay, I'll start this one off. So I guess I'll riff off of what T and Frank were saying with, you know, dressing with what makes you feel good and not necessarily dressing for others' expectations. And I definitely used to dress for other people's expectations. You know, I work in a high school and at Hill House High School. And the expectation was for me to wear like a suit every day, you know, because like I was going hard with the suits. I would wear a suit, you know, Monday through Friday, whether it was casual Friday or not. And, you know, that's what people were expecting of me. And I think coming out of COVID, the pandemic and everything, it just became more like, all right, this is how I want to dress today. I'm not putting on the 3-piece suit. Like I'm putting on, you know, a hoodie and a jacket over there. And then like these silver pants that I got from Florida. And then like people were looking at me like, wow, it looks really great. Like I wasn't expecting this from you. And it's like I'm multifaceted. Like I'm wearing what I want to wear. I'm wearing what makes me feel comfortable. I'm not wearing what you necessarily expect me to wear, or the box you expect me to be in.
Right.
So bring it back to COVID, you know, what you were saying as well, Julia, like kind of like embracing some casualness and then putting that and then to what I'm wearing as well. So like yesterday, for example, I had a class I was teaching with a creative arts workshop, and it was on Zoom. And I was like, I'm gonna try something different today. So I've got like these really nice white sneakers from this brand called New Republic Man. I put on a suit, but I put on like a blue t-shirt underneath it so it matched the suit, white sneakers, and I had a pen that's like this 8-bit video game heart, you know, like from Legend of Zelda. So I put that on the lapel, and like that was it, and I was good to go.
Yeah.
And again, you know, like I don't necessarily always have to wear, you know, suit and tie buttoned up. You know, I can like have the space and have the room to play within that box, like just create whatever box I want to create, because you know I show up the way I want to show up.
That's it.
No, it's all about the fit as well.
Yeah,
because the fit is absolutely important, and people often stop me and say, you know, like, you're the only one that can dress like that or something like that. And what I try to express to people is, one, is the confidence that wears it, and two, you need the right fit.
Yeah.
So for example, with your fit, wearing your suit with a t-shirt and kicks, which I used to do often every day, Frank knows, it won't look right if you're not wearing the right size suit, if it's not tailored.
Yeah.
You know? But speaking about my style through and after COVID, I'm at the point in my life now where I don't want to be in any rooms where I can't dress like myself.
Yep. Yep.
I don't care for any dress codes. I mean, of course, there are certain events and things that it's just appropriate, you know, to wear. You can't show up to a black tie event in a sweatsuit, of course.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't care to be anywhere in any rooms. I don't care to take any meetings. I don't care to show up to any job where it's expected for me to be anything other than myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's more than style even. It's just the point of life where I'm at now, as an entrepreneur, as a serial entrepreneur, as a hustler, as an overall creative. I feel like people have a certain expectation at this point for me to be myself and not to be anything other than that.
Yeah.
And if I'm requested, or if people expect me to be anything different than myself, then I can't participate in whatever that is.
Yep.
And again, now that, you know, I make all of my own clothes, there's really no other way it should be anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think on my end, I think this pandemic and everything has made me care less about how I'm perceived. It's interesting. It really made me care less. Like, again, I'm all about this authenticity wave, and you know, I've been on in the pandemic itself. I've had to have the, you know, because of consulting gigs and stuff like that, like suited up or something like that, and I had to have the top and the bottom, because if you get up, you might go viral if you don't have the right, you know, bottom right. So I wasn't trying to be a viral story, but you know, I enjoyed dressing like how I wanted to dress and putting some effort into it as I was you know, showing up for these presentations, these engagements and everything like that. Now I think moving forward, I think a lot of people have shifted their perception on, like, what does it look like to show up in terms of their own style, right? So I think for some people, they're gonna now rank, like, you know, bring it up to another level, because now they want to go out and, you know, either impress folks or, you know, I don't say showboat, but just like, you know, project, impress. Other people are like, look, I'm just happy to be alive, and I'm gonna dress how I'm gonna dress to reflect that. You know, I'm gonna dress to reflect that. So I think you're gonna see a shift. Is either gonna be folks are gonna, like, you know, want to be seen because they haven't been in social settings for so long, right? Other folks are like, I'm just glad to be in social settings, and how I show up is gonna be how I show up based on how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yes.
I'd like to speak on the comment regarding Hold on, what's that?
Oh no, I was just
Oh,
other joint. That's all.
Okay.
yeah, like I see a comment from Rick.
Oh yeah, let me pull that back up.
So saying, do you all see the term fashion as being thought of as out of reach for everyday people? No, absolutely not.
Yeah, and he gave an example.
Fashion itself overall is a genre. It's an umbrella, I'd say, and many things go under that. On one hand, I'll say anything outside of practical use is considered fashion, but that's not even the case either. You know, construction workers have uniforms, police officers have uniforms. It's really, I want to word this correctly how I'm thinking about it, but to answer the question directly, no, fashion is for everyone. I mean, regular people and whatever not regular people are. And then style comes into play based on how they add their personal touches to this particular fashion.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's the difference. Fashion is overall, and style is the personal aspect of it.
Right.
And
I'll add on to that too, actually. Style, I think, really comes with not only knowledge of self, but experience and putting in that time. Like if you've been dressing a certain way or getting into, you know, styling yourself a certain way, and like you're like really dedicated to that, you know, like it shows. Like if I come across Frank, you know, downtown, like I know that's him. You know, I look at the back of his head, like I see he's wearing like a floral jacket and, you know, suit pants, you know, his shoes and everything. Oh, that's Frank, because he carries himself a certain way. He has knowledge of self, so that comes through in what he's wearing. And then same with T. Like I recognize T based on somebody else that might be wearing a suit that's similar to his. And then to bring it back to what Rick was saying, you know, I really do think fashion and style on top of that is for the people. And, you know, just going off of the things that I like to wear, like a lot of people will approach me and say, oh, how much did you pay for that suit? And I'm just like, all right, I get how you may think I paid like thousands of dollars for this suit or whatever. And for me, like, it's just like, it's about the style, it's about the quality, it's about the fit. And then I always look for a good price point also. Like I do a lot of research to buy suits or streetwear that's comfortable with my budget. Like I'm not trying to pay like $800, $1,000 for, you know, a suit. You know, I want to get something that I can wear every day that feels good. So I will look out for those brands that not only have great quality, but like price as well. That looks like wearing some Warby Parker glasses, or like this suit is from Combat Gent, which is the online retailer, and their suits go for like $150 to $200. Like that's comfortable for me. And then I might not necessarily need to get that much tailored either. So like the price really stays down, but it looks comparable to like those high-end brands like Brooks Brothers. So like part of it is always about doing the research and seeing like, okay, what can I create based on this budget, instead of like just overextending yourself. Like there's no point in doing that.
High end also doesn't make it good or stylish or I guess fashionable, because again, fashion is the umbrella of everything from trends to style to all of that. But I don't think that people who dress, I don't want to speak against people, dressing according to particular brands, like the high-end brands, someone who all they buy is Gucci, Louis Vuitton and all that, it doesn't make them fly or stylish. They could be buying the wrong sizes. They can be buying colors that don't work for them.
Yeah.
You know, none of that really matters. All that matters is how you wear it, and the fit, how it looks on you, and how it expresses you personally. So just because something is expensive, again, doesn't make it stylish, doesn't make it good. I've seen plenty of $1,000 t-shirts that are coming open at the seams, that don't wash well. I've seen $3,000 shoes where the heel is coming off before it even leaves the store. Like, none of that matters. And if you're someone who is trying to find your personal style or trying to find you, don't look into how much it costs. Don't look into the name brands even as much. Look into what works best for you as an individual. And don't put, I've seen people, blow their paychecks for a Gucci belt just to be a part of the trend train, just for somebody to say that's a nice belt one time, but they're struggling for the next month. It doesn't make sense to operate that way. So yeah.
Because this is Digital Media Sync, I want to kind of talk about a couple of different aspects of being online. And of course, one of them is definitely this influencer society, right? Which, like everything else, has its pros and has its cons. And I know that there's, a good way of kind of influencing and presenting as a best self and that sort of thing. And then there's harmful ways of, like, the way that influencers may present themselves and that sort of thing. And, I know there's definitely, there's aspects that I like, and then there's aspects that I don't like. And I have opinions about all of it, but I want to go to you about, like, what that looks like. And Ra, as being, somebody who's been approached to be a brand ambassador or to exhibit different looks that are possible and that sort of thing. Can I get you to kick that off?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is definitely something important to look at. And I remember I was watching this documentary on being an influencer on HBO, and it just left me feeling like so much of it is, fabricated, and so many people that, are chasing that lifestyle are, like, again, what we're saying, putting themselves in a box, and they might be working with brands that they're not passionate about and conveying this image. It's like, all right, that's not really my authentic self, but I'm doing this for the likes and the follows and the comments. So after I watched that, and I've had various conversations with other influencers that are friends of mine, and I just came to the thinking, like, I'm just gonna be my authentic self, like, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, like, this is just me. And I don't really want to, like, do anything else where that's concerned. Like, I get offers a lot now because my follower count has been on the rise, and I'm just, like, really selective with the brands that I work with. Like, I don't really, like, wear a lot of jewelry or bracelets and stuff like that. It's not really my aesthetic. Like, if that's your thing, like, that's cool. But there have been brands like that have approached me lately. I've just had to be like, no, thanks. I wasn't really interested in doing that. Because if I were to take that on, they would expect me to create a post and a story and possibly a reel. And if I'm not passionate about it, I'm not going to take it on. Like, it has to, like, match my aesthetic and my self-expression. So I've worked with a company that makes watches, sunglasses. I love glasses. So all those things, speak to what I like. Like, even working with a coffee brand right now, I've got a French press. I've got, like, a coffee maker to do iced coffee. So, like, that works for me. Like, I enjoy like making coffee at home, so I don't necessarily always have to go out and buy a cup. I can make it from home. So I think when it comes to working with brands, I look, okay, how can I help this brand, but also help myself and get a product or a service or whatever that's gonna, like, integrate seamlessly into my life. And then the last part of it is, like, how can I, pass this on to the people that are following me that I can educate, because that goes with my background as a teacher. I want to use this platform that I have to educate people and to inspire people. Like, I don't want to be phony about it.
Right. And just really quickly, and then I want to go to Frank and Pete, of course, but I know, like, we've had these conversations before, right? It's like you have to be aware of yourself, you have to know yourself, you have to be comfortable, and then present that, and then know exactly what opportunities it is that you want to say yes to, and not and definitely very selective in that sort of thing. So I know that that's been across the board conversations that we have, and especially in the online world.
Yeah.
We really do have to be very protective of your personal brand.
Yep.
Right.
Frank or T, do you want to jump in? And
as far as the digital world, to be honest, if I didn't have my business, I probably wouldn't even have any social media. I don't like taking pictures myself. I don't like asking people to take pictures. I mean, I don't really care to show anyone what I have on.
Yeah.
Again, because it's a personal thing, why I dress how I do. And I appreciate that, you know, my style resonates with other people. I think that's pretty dope. But what I've had to learn is that people do like to see what I'm wearing, and people like to hear about the process and the inspiration. And people like to see, you know, me take a piece of fabric and final product. And that stuff is important when it comes to building a brand and a business. Yeah, that's the way the world is going. We don't really have playgrounds anymore. We have Instagram and Facebook, stuff like that. So, yeah, being that this is the world, this is the way that the world is going for anyone who's expecting to build a brand and build a business. We have to take this seriously, and I have to. You know, it's a lesson that I learned, that I need to be more diligent and more open to sharing, you know, my life and my thoughts and what I have going on.
Yeah. And again, it's a balance, right? It's a balance as far as like how much you protect yourself and you know, your own mental, emotional, physical state, and move that. And then it's like, this is what I am as a brand, and how, you know, as somebody who actually produces something, you know, art and style and that sort of thing. And Frank, how does it come into play with what you're doing? Because you're doing things.
I think on mine, really what happens is that so that's so funny. I've rejected the influencer title for a while. But I've started to accept it because I'm not just really a big fan of titles anyway, right? I'm real big on purpose, you know, and I really believe that purpose is the drive. If purpose is the driving force behind what you do, then I wouldn't consider myself an influencer. I consider myself an impactor, right? And I have a accountability and responsibility to showcase content that's going to inspire people, empower people, give a great, you know, message, influence, and, you know, it's about the impact, right? So, you know, when it comes to that, if I'm aligning with the brands, I want to make sure that what I'm doing and who I'm aligning with connects with my values, right? Because values are very big to me, very important. So if I companies have reached out to me, like some fashion companies, you know, watch companies as well, some, you know, apparel, and first thing I do is I have to go to their website and read what's their mission statement, like what's their vision statement, you know, what type of media is out there? Is there any controversy? Like, I need to know what I'm getting myself into and what I'm aligning with, because once you align your personal brand with it, something, as you know, Julia, like that is part of your digital footprint, right? Exactly. And, you know, as we see, digital footprints don't necessarily disappear. You know, once it's on the net.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, once it's on the net, it's on the net. So for me, I have to be very cognizant of what and who I'm aligning myself with. I gotta believe in the mission, because it's not about the money for me at this point in my career. It's about alignment. Like, it has to align, and it gotta make sense for me. And it gotta hit a purpose that makes me want to tap into my creativeness and create content or represent it to the best of my capability.
Yeah, and that makes total sense, right? And it's all the same kind of you know, all saying the same thing in different ways, I think. Rob, what else did you want to talk about today? Because I think this is going in like a wonderful direction, and there's like so much balance as well. And we're talking more, you know.
Yeah. I love how it's just flowing naturally. I think one thing I want to interject with is just having all of us kind of break down what we're wearing today and, you know, why we chose it. I mean, T, you mentioned a little bit on it, but yeah, like just let's go around. Let's do two things actually. Let's break down what we're wearing today, and then touch on how we developed or started to develop our personal styles.
Ooh.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Dope.
So Frank or T, you can start off, and then I think I'll go last for this one since I posed the question.
Yeah, we have just Frank here right now. T's I think it's gonna pop back on. So Frank, it's up to you.
Okay, cool. So I got a real basic fit on you know what I'm saying, and it's interesting because I don't necessarily know the labels of what I got on, but you know, nice little vest, right? Because I like vests. I think they accentuate the outfits, right? This is actually a silk V-neck. You know what I'm saying? That's usually you can use it. It's not like a t-shirt. It's like a dress shirt, but a silk V-neck, right? And you can use it for suits. You can use it's really used for suits, to accentuate suits, right? Rather than like for me, like a basic cotton t-shirt, right? This is real breathable. You know, it doesn't, you don't sweat through it as much, right? Especially in the heat. It's light. You know, the color is really light and everything like that. This hat actually means a lot. It was actually a gift given to me by my friend. He's an amazing therapist. His name is King J Barnett, and he gave it to me as a gift. And you know, it kind of introduced me to this world of like wearing hats. I never used to wear hats like that, and I started to put that down. And when it comes to my personal style, like a lot of my personal style, again, it's authenticity, but I'm a real big fan of impact, right? So I'm gonna do this real quick because it makes sense. My personal style is rooted, actually connected to T in a lot of ways, right? So you remember this is like 14 years ago. We were working for this youth development company, right? And I think I was asking T a question. I was like, you know, man, I got these pants. I don't know if I should be wearing them. It's like, you know, they say you don't wear white after Labor Day or something like that, right? Right? White. And I had to make the joke because white linens, right? Just for the joke. And he was like, why? And I said, that's a good question. I never thought about why. Why am I like just wearing white when I feel it fits into a box? You know, so for me, since then I've just not wanted to dress in boxes. So my personal style, again, comes from being authentically me, regardless of the season, regardless of, you know, what the trend is, you know. So definitely.
Excellent.
Was the question to talk about what we're wearing right now?
Yeah, two-part question. Break down your look, and then just like your entryway into style and developing your personal style.
All right, well, today, you know, I manage a fine clothing store selling suits and such, so I'm dressing the part. Got on Joseph Bank suit. My pants, they're like pattern,
look at that pattern.
Yeah, I like playing with patterns and such. Actually, working in this store, I can kind of be a little more conservative because of the type of clients that we get. But yeah, I mean, I just like a good fitted suit when I do have to wear one. Fitted and tailored according to my body, like it to look like it was made for me, whether I buy it off the rack or it's actually custom. I'm getting suits custom made more than anything recently. And then as far as my hats, I just like the way I look at these hats, like the way they make me feel, and they block the sun, so I wear them. As far as my personal style and my journey into how I dress today and such. I mean, my parents have always been stylish, so I absolutely get some of the comfortability from them dressing me as a kid. When I say in high school, when I started shopping for myself, is really when I started exploring my personal style and what made me feel good, figuring out what I liked. No one would believe it today, but I went through that stage of wearing, baggy pants, like 5 sizes too big for me, XXX t-shirts and stuff. Oh my God, just thinking about it is crazy. But and then I actually started wearing suits to school in high school, and that's when I started, exploring that realm of things and appreciating how I felt in suits, and I realized how differently people treated me when wearing street clothes. I mean, people always treat me with respect and such, but it's like a different level to it depending on how you present yourself. But that's when I really started challenging myself, trying new things, trying things I would never have tried before, trying things that other people wouldn't necessarily do. Like again, in high school, when I go to high school, I think I graduated 04. I actually went to Hill House, right? But back in that time, people dress baggy, they dress loose, again, sizes bigger than what they actually wear. And then that's when I started wearing things that were actually my size, more slim pants and things. And I remember at first people talking like I was crazy for wearing slimmer jeans, but I'm like, I'm wearing jeans that actually fit me. I like the way they look. And then now, that's all people wear is like skinnies and pants that look tight and all that. So it's funny how things change and how things evolve. And then I'd say in college, being exposed to more people, to more experiences, to new places to shop and things like that, I was able to explore even more, take things deeper. For me, I correlate my personal style actually directly with life. So when I feel like I need to challenge myself, or I need to open up, or I need to build on my confidence in a certain way, I'll wear something that I don't necessarily that I wouldn't necessarily do. And again, that builds my confidence. It helps me care less what other people think of me. Like I remember when I tried my first deep V-neck t-shirt, and like my chest was completely exposed, and I felt a little self-conscious about it at first. And then it kind of just became my thing. Now I make t-shirts like that. But yeah, it's been a journey. And again, my personal style is directly correlated with how I feel about myself and how I feel about what I'm capable of. I feel like I'm capable of anything at this point.
Yeah. Julie, let me ask something real quick.
Yeah.
So one thing I will also want to add, you can see in my background, right? Like on my wall in my background, like it says, I love hip hop, right?
Yeah.
And so I think also part of my personal style is deeply influenced by hip hop, specifically just like hip hop, in terms of hip hop, the 5 elements of hip hop. One of them is the element of the MC, the art of rhyme, right? And for me, I also look at like how I dress as a rhyme, like as a freestyle, like depending on how I'm feeling, I'll throw something together based on how I feel, right? Sometimes it's not necessarily planned ahead of time. It's like, okay, I like this. This will go with this. This will go with this. And then we'll see what the final product is. But the freedom too, and again, I think
to get to play with it.
Authenticity. Yeah, you play with it and you see what happens.
I can't plan my outfits. I never do, not for anything, not for events or anything. Like
So interesting.
Yeah, because it's all about how I feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't plan anything. Actually, one of my friends told me that she planned out her wardrobe for a month. And I'm like, how in the world
Wow.
you can do that? I can't even plan it for tomorrow.
I'm super impressed with that.
Yeah, that was interesting.
A month, wow.
Yeah, I was super happy that I figured out what I wanted to wear last night. It was like, I'm just dressing for the weather. That's it.
All right, so I'll answer the question real quick. So what I am wearing, it's a double-breasted suit, and what that basically entails is it folds over. So 2 buttons here, and it closes. I really enjoy it, especially in the colder months, because it just keeps me warm. And it has a white.
Oh, I lost.
I wasn't really comfortable wearing like wide ties at first, but like
there we go.
it just looks good. You know, it looks good in a symmetrical way. And being an artist, you know, that's kind of like always been my inspiration for what I wear. So I like things to be symmetrical, or if they're going to be asymmetrical, you know, I'm going to make sure that I'm intentional about it. You know, everything I wear, like it has a specific intention, and it just speaks to, you know, what I wear. And, you know, this look is like, it's like monochrome in a sense. Like you've got a ton of blue, you know, broken up with some white stripes here on the shirt. And then if you look real close at the suit, it has like a bronze window pane pattern. So everything like has harmony to it. But like if you're looking from a distance, it might just look like, you know, plain double-breasted suit. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I love having subtleties when it comes to what I'm wearing. And in terms of like personal style and being influenced, I think I was wearing suits similar to T, like high school and then college as well. But I really didn't start owning that until I was going to school in New York and just being exposed to that culture. You know, I definitely consider myself a New Havener, but like my style is definitely like from New York, just being around all the people, all the artists, and it really just left a huge impact on me. And then just kind of taking that and owning it. I was really inspired by the show Mad Men. So I would be going to work like with charcoal suits, tie, pocket square, tie bar. I would just do that religiously for like, you know, pretty much like every day. And then where the style component came in was just kind of taking like what I wanted from those shows I would watch or movies or whatever, whether it be Mad Men or like the Bond series, and just saying like, hey, like I want to utilize this piece of it. I might kind of leave this behind. Like I haven't really worn like a tie bar in months, and I think tie bars are great. They hold your tie in place. But at the same time, it's like that's cool. But like it started to feel like a costume. And I was like, I really just want to be expressing myself and what, you know, suiting means to me or what streetwear means to me. So being an artist really, you know, plays that up for me. You know, sometimes I will plan my looks. Not so much now, because again, you know, I do like feeling a certain way. Like I've gotten up in the morning, I've been like, all right, I'm gonna wear like a tuxedo to work, and I'll just do it. Or I'll be like, all right, I might want to wear this suit, and then I grab another one. I grab a brown suit instead of a navy suit, because like, all right, maybe I might want to give navy a break. And I can see how I can challenge myself to wearing this brown suit with different accessories I didn't think of before. So it's all about that sense of adventure, that sense of discovery, and, you know, creating a palette for myself that I can wear out in public. And then, you know, that just makes me feel really good.
Or I think for me too, man, it's about, and I think you made the comment earlier where I like one of my things is my signature. People know me for is my blazers. Like, you know, I got a background in entertainment too. Before I went into like EQ and like full on in education, I got a background in entertainment. And you know, I used to host shows, I used to host concerts and things of that nature. You know, so one of the things that you're sticking out, if you're hosting like in front of 1,000 people, you know, you have to be memorable. So I would always get like a blazer. One of my spots in New Haven is on the Whaley Sample Shop. And and I would go there often, and they would always give me the blazers like before they come out, or give me like pick or something like that, because I've been going there for years. But I'm always, one of my favorite things to do is floral. I love floral patterns, because they stick out. I think floral patterns on a blazer tell a story. Oftentimes the thing that sticks out for me most, and what I'm always like, what people notice or reference are my blazers, right? I love florals. I love solid colored blazers. I love, pastel colors. That's probably for me. That's generally the most. I don't say risque, but I'm more creative in the blazer category. For me, my pants are generally really basic colors, like basic black, basic blue, basic green. But my blazers are always going to be a freestyle. They're always going to be, different parts of the spectrum. And at one point, but not as much now. But at one point, my ties, like my tie game used to be crazy. Just all different types of ties, different colors, and bow ties. Were a thing. And it's interesting because, based on where you're at certain points in your life, I believe your style moves in stages, So there might be a stage in my life when I was heavy into ties and bow ties, and now I don't really even wear them right now. Now when I wear suits, I wear them like a white t-shirt or a white dress shirt with a couple of buttons unlocked. So for that casual vibe, or, a solid white moccasin or a solid colored moccasin shirt like this, that's like built for suits.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, shifts.
My friends are having too. It's a pleasure speaking with y'all. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to reach out to me, feel free. t@threadsbyt.com, or you can check out the website threadsbyt.com. and Instagram and all that, threadsbyt everywhere. Other than that, y'all have a great day.
You as well, T.
Thank you.
My guy.
So we have a couple more minutes. How do we want to wrap this up, Rod? This has been like, I think, can we just wrap it up by like, I know we don't want to talk about being an influencer and stuff like that, but I think in a way it's like thinking about what would we say so that like the next couple of generations can have that confidence to dress, like we've been talking a lot, like I'm dressing my, the way I feel, I'm dressing the way that I want to present myself. I want to be bold. I want to be innovative. I want to do this. How do younger generation get to that path? And I don't want to say quicker, right? Because everybody has their way of doing things. But just to grab that confidence and to be able to break out of molds and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that when it comes, especially when, one of the things like I'm very passionate or have been very passionate about and giving a lot of my life to over the last 15 years specifically is working with young people, right? Teenagers specifically, right? And one of the things I often tell youth is like, look, y'all, who you are, like your fingerprint isn't the same as someone else's fingerprint.
Yeah.
Right? You got your own specific fingerprint, and that should be the blueprint you take to your style journey. Like if you're not born a copy, so why should you live as a copy? Right? You're born an original, so do what makes you feel good. Like when you look in the mirror, do you like what you see in regards to what you put on? And if so, that's what matters. Now, I also tell them, as you're forming your style, know the parameters, right? Like again, if you're going to a formal event, you have time, space of flexibility, but you also want to make sure, there's a code, right? It's a formal event, right. So you dress accordingly. But also, even with rules, I always say, even with rules, there's space for flexibility, right? Even with rules, there's space for flexibility. And exercise that. Be creative. right? But don't just fall. And I say victim because I say victim to the trends, because trends come and go, and I've seen people spend a lot of money to keep up on trends.
Yeah.
And then it's like a couple of weeks later, the trend is dead, or a couple months later, the trend is dead, and you might not wear that thing that you spent money on again because of the trend being dead, right? Or because it's not trendy. So I like to shop, and I tell you, like, get something that you can wear again now, in a year from now, or 2 years from now, 3 years from now, right? Get something that you can reuse, because the beautiful thing about it is I got things that I got 10 years ago that I can still wear, and as people look like, oh, did you just get that? Or that's dope, I never seen that before. Yeah, because it was a decade ago, so I mean, so and trends move in cycles too. That's the other thing. There was this big, if you look at, I make this joke, right? When I was in high school, and I tell youth this, like, people used to clown and make jokes about how Pee Wee Herman dressed, right?
Yeah.
Pee Wee Herman, man, the movie dude and everything like that. And I saw this meme on social media, and it said they used to clown Pee Wee Herman. Now we're dressing like Pee Wee Herman. You see what I'm saying?
I saw that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we used to clown Pee Wee Herman. Now we're dressed like Pee Wee Herman, fitted suits and everything like that. So do and dress how you feel that's going to be authentic to you, that works for you. Because odds are the trend is going to fade or it's going to come back around. You want to make sure that you're not living by trends, you're living by what works for you. Because and the thing, how are trends created? By people doing what works for them, and then everyone gets on board with that.
On board with it, yeah. Sure.
I got a Band-Aid on my thumb right now. There was a time when a Band-Aid on your cheek was like a fashion trend.
Nelly.
Nelly, because artist Nelly said, hey, I'm just going to do that. And then everybody jumped on board.
Yeah.
So I would say don't follow. Here we go. And it's a long way around. Don't follow the trend. Set the trend by being you.
Absolutely. And yeah, just to riff off of what Frank is saying, and I think T was definitely speaking to this as well. I think we're all speaking to it. It's really about authenticity. Authenticity is the key factor. Like, even when you're learning what you like, because it's it's a style journey. I'm creating my style. And like, even if you can talk to somebody, because I always believe in having mentors, like whether it's been like my art or my style, I've always had mentors I could go to and be like, hey, okay, why does this work for you? And I can take part of this and make it my own. Like, you really just want to like be copying, but you do want to make it your own. You want to like develop that level of mastery and self-expression where you can take something and then just start inventing for yourself. Whereas you're not just like a photocopier, like, okay, I like this, I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna use that, but like innovating. And then to also riff off of what Frank was saying, like, you might be getting pushback. People might not understand it and be like, oh, like, why are you pairing that together and blah 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 blah. Some people might be in that box. They might not be able to see like what you're creating for yourself in terms of your personal style. But I definitely believe that there's a lot that comes out of being a trendsetter, wearing something, creating a look, expressing yourself in a cerwant way that people might not understand all the time. Like, people might not understand why, like, I want to wear suits as much as I do, or like why I might want to like switch up to streetwear and stuff like that. Like, this is just who I am. Like, I've been dressing for a long time, and like, this is how I choose to express myself. So like, just in closing, I would say, like, anybody that's on the come up and that wants to, maybe dress like me or Frank or T or anybody else, like, do what works for you. Like, express yourself in a way that makes you feel good at the end of the day. And if you're able to do that, who cares? Like, as long as you feel good, as long as you're not hurting anybody, that's the way to go.
Yeah. And I think, I think after, I've been seeing a lot of people in general who have been saying, those very things, and especially post-pandemic, it's just like, I've learned a lot of things. I'm grateful for a lot of things. We made it through this stuff. I've known what's important. And when it comes to dressing, it's like there's things that are important to me. Like for me, it's important to be very comfortable, to have pockets for however many of my clothes as I have. I want to have pockets, and to put my phone in because I don't want to carry a lot of stuff around. I want to be practical and stuff like that. I love wearing dresses. They're cool, they're comfortable, they always look good. You can wear them with any kind of shoes. A lot of times in the summertime, I just wear sandals every day. I don't care about wearing heels and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm hoping that we're going to see kind of like, and I love dressing up. I love dressing up. There was a point in the pandemic where it's like, I'm going to come to work in a gown one day. It's just going to be like, for me, I'm just going to feel like this is a celebration.
Yeah.
We made it out. This is a celebration. I'm going to bedazzle myself. That sort of thing. So I just want to thank you. I know T had to run off, but thank you to T, thank you, Frank, and thank you, Ra, again. Like, keep these ideas coming.
My pleasure. I've got more.
Having this conversation, and I think that
no problem.
It's so important too, because again, it's something that you don't always see online, and you want to be able. And I put everybody's information up as well, so how to get a hold of you on Instagram and Facebook,
please reach out,
and that sort of thing. So and I know, again, if you have another idea, just bring it over. I'm going to put this on.
I'll make you a list.
Yep. I know. I'm sure you have a list, and I said the same thing to you, Frank. And then the other thing too, again, I want to thank you both, but I also want to say that you are both welcome as we're open. We're open now here at Known, and so I'd love to see your faces in person, and I expect a hug.
Of course, goes without saying.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much again, and I guess we're signing off now.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
Absolutely. It's been amazing.